Hello, we now want to parse a website. In this case, you want to parse Reuters news, the actual news of Reuters, and we want to aggregate the news of the day or something like that as a mathematical notebook. So this is an example of how you can proceed with all the other web pages and websites around on this planet. So it will be a little longer because I want to explain all the traps and all the ways around. It's a little tricky, needs some exercises and you have to get used to it. But it's not too complicated to do these things. Just look at it, get an idea of how it works, and then decide whether it might be something for you or not. So we had the actual news and new articles of Reuters. We got them with Twitter, and I explained that in the last tutorial. So therefore we we look for Twitter, and this is connected. If not, you simply say service, this is this one here, service connect. Twitter is service connect new, and then get a new connection. You need to have an account, and here we are. Now we got a key for an encrypted communication, and we work on the API. So now we have Twitter connected, and the summary of the last chapter is this. So this gives you the MTP Reuters latest news. We give the service connector, Twitter, and we want to have the 12 latest news. And here we are with the URLs of the news. We give that for URL. It's this again. So these are the latest news of Reuters. URL, the one we want to work on, is URLs, the first of this list. Take the first of this list, and this is what the news we want to work on. We can say system open of URL, and then it should show up. So there's a bus. So we want to get this news. So to import the HTML, it's straightforward. Import of the URL, and we want to have it as plain text. So you can't go directly with HTML or XML. This is not working with Mathematica. It's a little unfortunate. So this is our HTML code. So HTML code is this. So we can look it up here with, as I discussed, go in preferences and enable your developer here, developer menu here, then say show web inspector. So you see this is kind of messy code, very complicated to see, to read. We can look how long it is, string length of URL. No, it's of HTML code. It's 180,000 characters, and you see all these hierarchies here. So this is very long. It takes to parse these things. We can't directly go with XML here because this is not an XML, it's HTML, and it's not XML 1.0. So therefore we have to trick a little. So now let's, for example, if you want to have a very specific element. For example, now the title. So go here with this pointer. So and here you see this is a code for the title. Go here, say copy HTML and make this sign, and then it's converting the text here. So this is what we want to get. This is a variable, and we discussed it like that. So we have a string cases of our HTML code. So first parameter is this. This is a key, and we want to get that. So it works like cases discussed on the XML code, on the structured lists. With strings it's similar. So in this case, of course, this is a key, the pattern, this is the world, and we match exactly the thing. Now, to get this as a variable, it's slightly different from cases. We have to do that, then we have this tilde, then we put a variable, tilde, and string. So, and again, like it's always the same, take just this here, and now it's not working. Why is it? I think we need multiple characters. This is a single character. If there's a single character between this and that, then it matches, but we want to have multiple candidates, so it's until this happens. So, and here, this is the title. So it's only one, so we say first. So this is our title, and we name it title. So because this is from our database, it's always the same. In all the articles of Reuters, it's of this structure. Therefore, this key works with all the articles of Reuters, but you see there is a certain version and so on. So if, for example, half a year and so on, you have to readjust your keys. So you have to expect that, because they made an update and they changed things. So this is a title. Now, for example, go for the just as an exercise, we want to go for the date. So go here and check it. Here, the same procedure. Go for HTML and say copy, convert it. So this is here. So we can copy this here and say this is a date, string case, and we want to look for this. And we are interested in, copy this, in October, all this. So now we have this phenomena that it starts where we want to start, but it doesn't end here, because it's taking the last end div at the end. So if you want to have the first one, then you have to say shortest. So the shortest of this, exclude the right-hand side of the rule. So if we have that, here, this is our date. So we only have one, so we have first, because the system doesn't know how many matched cases are there. So that's the date. Now we want to just get the date and the time. So therefore we say date gets too complicated if you put it in here, so make another step. So we want to have string cases. No, again, first string cases. No, it's of date. So, and we take this here. We don't need the shortest. So, and we put this in. No. We put this in here. So, and then we say, let's take this. Oh, we can start with X and here. So this is X. Date. What do we do here? So we simply get this off, and we want to have X. Here we are. So now we should get all these characters from the beginning until this thing here. So this is October, this is X. Great, and now we want to have the time. Go here and say, paste it here and say this is Y. So and here we can say we want X and string join in infix notation. And here we are, it's not matching. It's angry about the first. No. What is the problem? Ah, there's missing comma. Is it a missing comma? No. Ah, this is what you never should do. That date is now corrupted, so we can't. So date is this, and this is date 1. So now let's go to here. This is how we wanted to have that. So go here with Y, and here we are. So date was changed with the, so we couldn't find. Now here we have this, we want to have a blank in between, so, and make another string join, and here now we are, and this is first. This is our date, date 1. Being sure that this is okay, then we say we can have it date. So now it's working. Name this temporary, and then temp here, and then we have date, and then it's proper, and we don't run into these kind of problems we had. Good. Now we want to go for the text. Here is the text block. You see, it's no. We want to have all article. Where is it? No, here. This is where we are here. So we want to go for the whole block. So we see it's this here. This is a whole block, and this is with all the pictures are in and so on, and here we see everything is it. This is what we are interested in. So I told you that it's complicated with Mathematica and HTML. So it turns out that here HTML is compatible with this XHTML Mathematica is able to work with. There's a lot of stuff around which crashes Mathematica and takes a lot of time in calculation. So therefore I prepared a function here. These two functions, I copy it here so that you can work with it. So, and they are working like this. So we say, look at this, HTML get instance of this HTML code. This was our 180,000, that's the whole thing. So, and we want to go for a div here, and then I'm just taking this class, so which is unique. So we can have standard article body down lower slash body. If we take that, we just get this section. So it starts here, ends here. There are two others which are always a little small towards the end. So therefore we want to have, and this is the character where it started, and the character, so these are the characters we are interested in. So very useful function. So we take the first of it, and then not the address but the body, the second, and this is what we are interested in. So this is our body. So we can, XML code is import string. So in most cases this works with reuters. Import string, div list, now XML. So now it works. No, in this case, we had another problem. This is with these HTML external characters. We have crazy characters here, and we have to convert that. So I didn't find a better solution yet, but that we use it like that, make it like that. So we take the code, and this is here. The code is string replace from the code, remove it, string replace of this, and then we can look it up. Go. So what is it? You just see crazy characters with crazy character combinations. They all start with an at and end with a semicolon. So, and whenever it comes, so this is corrupting all parsers of Mathematica. So if we substitute that with characters, it's fine. And if we now go for import, then we can put that to a nice XML document as we had. Now we can parse much easier in this structure. Good. That's the next step. Now we want to filter. What we are interested in is the texts. So we have it here. So it's always P, then there's a text, and P paragraph as we described with HTML. So in our XML code, it looks like this. It's where's a P. Here's one. Looks like this. You go P, then there are attributes, and there's a body, and then the end of the paragraph. So we want to match them, which means we can have the cases, and we say these are the paragraphs. These are the cases of the XML code, and now my key is an XML element, and we want to have a paragraph. Then we are not interested in the attributes, and we want to have the content of, and see that we have this, and we want to have all of the texts. If we do that, we get all the text elements. So that's fine. It looks that we have it. So 50 people here, Nairobi. Then the next is it's the initial report. Everything is fine. And the last one, editing, is here. Yeah, reporting, we end up here with our P. That's good. So again, now we flatten that to get a single list. Now we have a list of strings. We have to riffle this one with blanks. Now we have a blank, or we can, for example, go with a new line. So then we have a new line after each paragraph. That's fine. So, and now we say string join. Make a single string out of these. Join, and here we are. We have to make backslash. Now we have our text. We can have two of them, and here is our text. These are the paragraphs, or we say this is our text. Okay, now we go for the images. We work in the same way. So we have to check how images are located, where they are located. It's here. And I think we should first concentrate on this image container. That's good because there's an image, and we have the this text underneath the image. Good. Now it's called image container, so we can simply say cases. We have the XML code because it's within our block of content. So that's the first element. So the second is the filter. So we say it's an XML element, and we want to have it div, and then we want to have the class. This is how it works. Image container. So go for other elements. This means a list or a none. And then we have whatever it is. Go and say all of them. And here we are. So, but class image container, here we are with our elements. That's the first image, there's a second image, and so on. So within, these are the image containers. Equal this. So now let's look at the first image container. That's this one. So what we are looking for is the source here, this one. This is the image element, and the source, Reuters, and so on. We will discuss that. So we can take this as a next key. So we say cases of image containers. That's the first. Now we go for the filters. We had this one. Simply say source, and we want to have that as a variable. So that's it. And we want to get this x, and we do want to have it for all. That's it. Very compact. Image container. How is it? Source, maybe we should go here to make it more precise. And it's closing here. So then we can close this. Here we are. Now we have two images with two different IDs. And here we are. So what we need is we have to add HTTPS. We have to make that a string and string join with that. So we have HTTPS. These are the two images. So these are image URLs. Like this. So we can import the image URLs. The first one, and here we see it's super small. And this is why they call it lazy. They say here lazy container, which means the web page comes very fast, and the moment you scroll into the image, the image is loaded in an appropriate resolution. So this is controlled in this case with the width of 20. So we have to replace this width of 20 by, for example, for 512. So therefore we say string replace of this, and then we have, this is a key. So this is the key. We want to replace that with not 20 but 512. So now this should HTTPS plus this replaced, and then we have width, and if we now go to import, takes longer, and we have a proper picture. And the second picture is this. It's another one. Great. Good. Which means that if we say import on each element of these cases, we have the images. Yes, we have it. So these are the images of our news. And now the caption. This is image caption is here. So we are looking for this element here, which means this was image containers, cases, image containers, so and we want to have, so this is the word, and this is the key. So we go here and say we want to have this key. We want to do that for all. So which means we get it, and now we have to make a variable so that we can get both. So this is our variable, this is what we want to have. So it's our result. We want to get this one, and we want to extract it. X. This is okay. And now we need it from the second one. Maybe there is some other. So for example, what do we see here? If maybe this fig caption is, we don't need it, huh? It's already here. There's image caption here. That should be enough. So let's experiment and take this off, which means we need this is one curly and one square bracket gone, and you see they are here. Take them away and ask how it works. So that's here. Make this, it's not. So what is the problem? Why is there no caption here? What is the problem here? Span. There's this line in between. Image caption, image line, and so on, which means we can caption, that means we have an element here. Yes. And here. So there might be other elements in here. So and this means in this in the body of this diverse class image caption, you see here there can be so this is the second element. So there might be a list of them. Here, for example, these are long lists. So this list is here, starts here, ends here. No, ends. Starts here, ends here. So it's always the third element. That's the tag. These are the attributes, and this is the body. So 1 means there has to be one element. 2 means there can be multiple, one or more elements. 3 means there can be 0 or more elements. And so therefore we simply take this should be a list, and then we wrap it with 0 or more here at the end and at the beginning, and then the key is more general. So then he is abstracting, for example, from this line. So these are our captions. There's this. Good. Now we have everything. Now we collect it. So we make the news is, and we want to put it into an association list. So we say the title should be the title. So then the date was the date. Then the text should be the text. The images is, how did we had to call it images. The captions called the captions. So we close it, and here we have a data set, an association. So this is our news. And we, like with all the association, we can say news. What is the title of my news? We have that. what are the images of my news. So that's fine. And to make it even more proper, we make that a data set of this, and then we have a nice data set. We can click in here and go back, so then we don't have trouble with big chunks of these things. So this is how parsing works. So next step is to bring that, it's not too complicated to get this data set now into cells of our notebook. So this is very straightforward, we did it before. So we can say MTP format, so we say it should be a text, and we want to have news of title, and we want to have that in style of a chapter. So we need that normal. So there we have cell, text data, so chapter. If we cell print, then we have a title. So but we want to collect the cells. So now we want to have the date, mtpf text. So then we say copy, we want to have the date, then we say this should be text, and we want to have that as mtp f italic of this. Then we get the style box of this, check it with print. So then we get this, that's fine. So then we simply would say here we need the URL, and this is we say where was it? Our URL. Here, simply URL, okay. We have the URL, so we add another slot, just to have it. So, which means, for example, we can say mtpf link. Okay, this is not implemented. Ask for it, so it's a string and then URL. So we can have mtp link, so we say source, and then we say URL, then we get this bottom, this should be URL. If we check that, it's working, good. This is our link. So then we check the text, mtpf text of, copy this again, it's not already, it's a text, we want to have that as a text. Then we get the text cell, this should work, fine. So, and we want to have the images. So we go for the images, we need to, here we need to shuffle images and captions. So therefore the images are, there are 2 of them, so, and it's a list. All these have been single, now we have multiple of them. So we want to make a pure function, text, and we say this should be image, and we want the pure function variable, and now map it on each element of a list, and these are copy, and these are images. So, and then we get, is it correct? Yes, looks like. Good, keep it, trust that it's okay. And then we want to have the caption, and this is not image, it should be text. And this should be MTPF italic. Captions, cell print. Here we have the captions, that's nice, okay. Good. All this needs to be collected, so we start with we make a list. We start with the title, then we go with the images, and then with the captions. Oops, I deleted the captions. Here with the captions. So now I get a list. So we start with the title. Then we go with the text. That's not the date, we go for the text. Oh, let's put the date here. That's the second thing is the date. Good. Then we go for the text. We have the text. And then we have to shuffle captions and images. So which is riffle? I'm not sure. Let's look it up. Riffle. Let's check it. Yes. Okay. So it's good. So we can riffle, but we have to keep in mind that now we have an extra hierarchy of lists. So we want to have first the images and then the captions. So we close it. So, and then at the end, or put it for the text, so interesting pictures at the beginning, then the text, and then we want to end with date, we have it, with the source. This was caption, text, the source. And our list. So if we run that, these are our cells at this. So this is a lot of stuff. We don't have to care about if we keep an overview of the structure of our writing here. So this is pretty clear. So now if we say notebook is notebook create, create notebook. Okay, then we have a notebook, and here we have to flatten that. And evaluate this again. So now notebook write of notebook cells, and then something should happen. Here we are. Great. If we now go to style, our style sheet, and this one, style sheet here, and we have proper setup. This is a little misleading here. Source is working. Good. I think we should put the date to the end. So take this off and have the link and the date. So make the date. So we can have MTP text of this, comma this, and say this should be of style text. This should work, MTP-F text. Good. Nothing blue, and this should get an improvement. The output is already there, and here we are. So it's much better. We have October source, and we can collapse this news. Good. If you want now, we can pack that in a function and then go for all the URLs of our research from Twitter for all these 12 or 100 or 1000 to make a book. So that's the next step. If you want to follow, I think it's worth to exercise this. So we want to call this function, how did I do it here? Reuters News. So I called it parse Reuters News. Okay. So we collect everything what we had done so far. These are URLs, it's outside this URL. So system open, this was just to get check whether this is working. So first thing is we need the HTML code. Okay. Second is we don't need to count the length of the string. So we say the title, that's here. We need it for the date, we needed this temporary variable. Then we had the date. We do this here. So then we have to keep in mind that we need these functions here. We focused on the block of the news of the data. We get that to an XML code. We get the text. We got the images like this. The first one. Images are here from the image containers. Image containers. So we have it here. Then the captions. Okay, and then we do the data set. That's what we want to get. We don't need a variable here. So, but now give this name, and we just have to give the variables a URL. So now we have to wrap all and shelter or wrap all these variables so that they don't get in conflict with the same name outside of this function. So we have to make them local so that they all get green. Okay. XML code, text, containers. false, and the rest is okay. So there's no red, no blue, nothing, so this should work. And close it. And this is our function. So if we now parse Reuters news, I'll go back, parse Reuters news of URL, then we should get all the cells. Date is not working, we made some mistake with the date. Now we need, this is wrong. It's not any longer 8 minutes ago, now it's some 20 minutes ago. So we have to date. We simply have to say we don't care about this, which means we say this. Good. This should work. And again. Now we got a proper date. That's fine. Good. So take this, put it to our code, and give that style code, because this is what we can reuse. Now, if we want to have, so don't do the data set here. When we get an association, we are not, so, and then we can make the data set here. And it's much simpler to use. Good. Now, if we want to do all the URLs, very simple now. We take this and say, do it for all the URLs. This will take a long time. Now I want to show you how to implement a kind of status. This is mapping, and we have this function map index. So, this map index says, so we can say the variable status is first of 2, so it's a position number of a list. So then we want to have parse Reuters news of 1. So, or make this, we make this a pure function and we put that on URLs. This is running on each element of the URL, updating the status with a number. So we can, for example, say first status is, we make it even nicer, to string of this, then we say of to string of lengths of URLs. So this means and then the string and then I think simply this URL. So second and so importing file 1 out of 3 or 12 with URL this, and then you see how it works. This is on this variable, so we can say dynamic of this variable. So this is for my last experiment. So, and now with URL we have 12 of them, and now this should work. So importing 2. It's kind of mixed up, but we can observe it. What is the problem here? ToString. Yeah, you can improve that, but it's doing what we want to do. Now we got all this. Make a data set of it. So which means we had a data set here of, and we say these are our news. So we say that, and because it takes so long, output 887. So we can say just to output 887, and here we have the data set. So we can forget this, and we can forget this, and this will produce the output here. Now you see we have all the titles, we have the date, we have the text, we have images or non-images, URLs, captions. Everything is fine. So these are our news. Okay, the system crashed. Now we should start again. In our case, we have quite comfortable. This is the start of our system. Make the evaluation of the cell, make sure that they are evaluated. Now this is lecture 304. This is our code. I have all the code needed is here. So by evaluating the initialization cells, everything is proper. Now we want to go to the Reuters news. This is the derivation. This is a comprehensive function. So we can start here, Reuters news. So, and now we have to connect to Twitter. Okay, so now make a new document. So then we get, this is Twitter, we have just copy it here. Then we have the URLs. We get the 12 URLs. Then we parse number 1. So it's a new one, meanwhile. So we can parse all of them. We have dynamic, a status, as discussed. Now this is working. This is the function how to do that. This is what we discussed. Now we have this set of data with the new news, with pictures, URLs, dates, and so on. So this is working fine. Now we re-establish the whole thing. And you see the derivation discussion of a function is very fast. It's very slow. If you then use it, it's very few commands to operate on that, and to operate not only on 12 but on thousands of news. So now we want to save these news in our library, and for the library we have to look for the directory. We want to save it as a book in our library, so we have to check the library here. So then the book name, we need this this setup. These are the metadata. So for example, the author is Reuters, the title is title, so then we construct the title like this. This is a date object. I wanted to just discuss it. So as a date object, this is today. So if I go for a date list of this date object, then you have this list. We are interested in year, month, day, hour, and minute, not hour, minute, and not second. So we say most of it. So we skip the last one. That's it. And we simply say, so if we these are all the numbers, so therefore we say this should be toString. If we do that, we have that as a data bit. This is a little ugly, so therefore we do toString each of these elements, and we make our riffle again. So we take riffle and say always a point in between. Then we have this, and then we say string join of the whole story. And here we have a nice date object. So then we put Reuters news at this time. So this should be the title of our book. Fine. This is what is here. Good. So we evaluate that. So we have the title, it's here. So then we have the year, that's the first of this date object, just the year. Wikibooks, nothing. Author, we go for Reuters. So the source is, we have the news. So we have the news at this. If we go for all URL, then we get this, all these, and if we put that to normal, then we are with all the sources. This is what we want to sources. Name is just the name of our book. We simply say it's 0.3, for example. Words can be done later. So, if we do that, we have this data. So, now we have this function here. Book name is the data of name, it's this. And then we simply say book meta write data, and we write. What is this? Okay, now we are here. It's Reuters 03. If we go to our library, we have Reuters 03, it's here, and we have, no, it's Reuters blank 03. I have some experiments here already. Can kill them, delete them. So Reuters 03, now we have this 03 with our metadata, which is defined with our data. So that's fine. The first step, how to introduce a new book in our library. So now we want to have the plain text for the book so that we can make our analysis. So like we did it with the news here. So we can say news all, and we want to have the text. So then we have all the texts. So again, we can go for but I think that's it. That's the text. But this is a list, so we again can say riffle and put 2 new lines after each element. So if we say string join, then we have the text, plain text of all our articles. So this is what we want to, this is our text. In this. And we want to put that to export. And we say we want to export it to our MTP library. We say the book name, like we discussed it in other. So then we want to go here, or simply check whether it's working. Then string join book name, string join dot text. So what is this? So we go a library, Reuters 3. So this would create an element here. Export this and do the text. Here we are, and now check it. Reuters text, 24 kilobytes, and here is the text. Now it's in the same format like we had it with Kohlhaas or others. So because of that, now we can run our Gutenberg curation, NTP book Gutenberg curation 1 of book name. So, and we can get the most prominent 100 names. That's here. Concepts. That's here, which produces in meta all the important words. And now we can go for the MTP book words, word prominence of book name 36. These are the most prominent book, and if we want to have the word cloud, do the word cloud of this, and here we are. So it's a lot of, now we, in the curation in principle, you get rid of Reuters and maybe this is Wednesday, I don't know, but it's interesting with Macron, minister, Bolivia, government, political, and so on. So this is working as in the same way as we did with the other books. So that's the next chapter. So now we have to collect all this stuff here, and here, no. Now go for, now for writing. We did the writing of the, I already discussed that, create a notebook, notebook write, to get a single news written, so which is summarized in this function, Reuters print. So therefore we can go here, just select it again. So we have that, okay. Now get the notebook, give it a style, create notebook, set options, style definitions, MTP style sheet, you might have another one. So now this is our notebook. And if we now go for notebook write, notebook, mtf text, the book name, and as a title, then we get the title. Now we go for all the books. So we can notebook write, simply make what is a notebook reuters print. Of notebook, and then we want to have this is a data set, so we need the news 1, and this should be on page 1. This is called news, yes, this should be on page 1, and here we have the Reuters print. Okay, we don't need the notebook here. Okay. Now we have the cells. Now notebook write, notebook, then this. Here we are with our first element. So we have the page with Reuters. We have the header and some news from Chile. So now we can go for the second one. Page 2, and then we get an in between. So we go here, go for Z. Now we delete that. Problem is our cursor was here. Now we go with cursor here. Get for the second one, and then it's working properly. So if you want to do it with all of them, we simply say this is Reuters notebook, first parameter, second parameter, Reuters print, and we have to do it with all the news. So therefore we go here and make parameters. This should be the same, pure function, and we do it on all the news, which means a range of length of news. So this will collect all the cells. There will be a list of it. We have to, I think we should flatten it to be safe. So it's a flat list of cells. So delete that. Go here. So this should make 12 news. Yeah. Good. Fine. Format. Style sheet. No, it's not working properly. We have to flatten the whole thing. So you see, it's in disorder, so there's no hierarchy. It's just a single cell here, all the news. So therefore we delete all of them. It's fine. So now it's flattening all of them, and here we are. So go for cell style, style sheet 2. Now we have proper hierarchies. Good. All the news. Good. Now, as a summary, I want to show you how we can wrap everything up and summarize in a single function, easy to use. So you start mathematical like always with the start, evaluate the notebook, go to parsing and translation. Here's our Reuters experiment. Finally, go here. So we have to evaluate the notebook, initialized cells. Now it's run, it's finished. Now all the functions are there. So, and this is the code we need. You can copy this to a new file. Now set the library. You want to get Reuters 2. So now we have to connect to Twitter to get the actual news. Okay. Now give it a name. We say Reuters. We don't have 100 but 12 to make it faster. So now it's importing. So here we are now with our new book. The book has 12, or in this case 11. One was not correct. So, and this is working properly with all the pictures. We can go to the source. We have that. And what is very important for our further interest, we can keep these things here as a link, and if it comes up with this news. Good. This is a word cloud, Reuters 01. Everything is working. Withdrawal, coalition, Reuters, Turkey, month, ministry, heavy. So this is how we have it, Reuters 01. These are our metadata, inclusive the word prominences. We have the full text, the plain text of the news. And we have the notebook, formatted text with pictures. Good, this is how it works. Thanks for watching and see you in the next tutorial.